Hello and welcome to Moore's Family Knows It All about movies. I'm Tom, and we're talking today about movies you should see if you haven't seen already or should own. Granted, in these days and age with streaming, you don't have to physically own copies, but if you really love a movie, you probably would have a physical copy, and especially in this one. This is American Graffiti. If you've never seen it before, it is one of George Lucas's earlier films. He made this actually 2 years before Star Wars, as you can see from director George Lucas. It has an all-star cast, including Richard Dreyfuss, Ron Howard, and in a very early but quickly rising performance, Harrison Ford. Now, and also on my YouTube page, you'll see a clip I posted of him as Bob Falfa. And if you know anything, Lucas likes to recycle stuff. Bob Falfa is kind of an anagram of Boba Fett. And it's kind of an interesting to it. Bob Falfa is constantly hunting down a drag racer named John Milner, who's kind of a precursor to Han Solo. So you can kind of see he kind of took some ideas from this movie and then recycled them into Empire Strikes Back. This film is a great little slice of life film. It's partially inspired by Lucas's own life growing up as a teenager and 20-something in California in the early 60s. It follows basically three characters of the really four characters of the course of the last night of the summer before two of them go off to college on the East Coast. They all get into different little misadventures, and toward the end of the night, all get together, come back together by the end of the day, as one of them does leave for college. Quite a few surprise cameos in the film, specifically Suzanne Summers and a kind of iconic, mysterious girl that you can never reach. You can kind of get an idea that Lucas may have had some, obsessions about girls back then. If you're a car nut, watch this movie. There's some gorgeous, gorgeous cars. If you're a racing fan, you'll love all the drag racing. It's not great, but it just throwback to a different age. This is what I would call a definitive boomer movie because it's definitely for the boomers in their childhood. It's set in 1962, which is a great little slice of life before JFK's assassination, so you get all sorts of great options. But that's what I love about this movie. And it has one of the best soundtracks ever. All 50s, early 60s music. Constantly you hear them listening to it on the radio. Wolfman Jack's the character, as he was the big DJ at the time. And it's just a great little look at what life was like. Now, I was a teenager in the 90s, so there really wasn't a lot of cruising from my generation. So it's an interesting look at what it was like even back then. Kind of, for this particular film, the acting is really good, which is part of the point. Lucas wanted to do a film that was less technical and more acting, but there's some incredibly gorgeous technical shots. Haxton Wexler was brought in as a special cinematographer consultant, basically because of some contract rules. He couldn't actually shoot the film. He could kind of just assist. It's got really interesting visuals. The film stock's different than, say, like Star Wars, which is a lot more brighter. This is a lot more almost indie grainy. You could see a lot of films borrow this concept. And if you look at like a movie like, say, Dazed and Confused, this movie is literally the blueprint for Dazed and Confused. So if you're fans of those type of movies, enjoy this film. I love it. My dad and I, we used to watch it all the time. This was his era. He loved these cars. He had one of those cars. It's just an interesting look. If you grow up in a small town like a lot of us have, this is where you always hear what the small town used to be like before things changed. And this is a great look at. There's this great line in the movie where two of the characters are complaining about or talking about music. One of them's like, "I love the Beach Boys," and the other guy's like, "They're ruining rock and roll," and says rock and roll's been going down since Buddy Holly died. You've heard people say that your entire life. Things been going since John Lennon died. Things been going since this band broke up. It's a great cycle of how things never change, but how things really do change. Now, my last comment, if you've seen the movie or will watch the movie, I want everyone, if you can, subscribe and mention in the comments your opinion of the final shot. And I'm not talking about, the plane taking off. I'm talking about what the little title cards at the end, because it's a very political ending. I won't go into specifically what the politics are. If you aren't aware, do some research. But Lucas puts a very, very direct political message. And, some of his later films have, especially the prequels, had some very direct political messages too. Do you like it when he goes political, or do you prefer non-political? And do you appreciate the political message that he adds in for this? Anyway, I'm Tom. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure to subscribe and comment below, and please share with all your friends. Thanks. Bye.